Okay, when it comes to the star signs, it's not even just the your main star sign, because you've got to go through your whole birth chart. Yeah. So your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising.
Flex.
So your sun would be like your main, like the month you were born, more than likely, and so that would be your main one. Your moon would be your emotions, so how you present your emotions, your internal world, and then your rising would be how you present to the world. So it's all these things. So you might go, okay, for instance, so Scorpio isn't like my favorite sign, even though I'm a water sign as well. I'm a Pisces, but there's so much other things to think about in terms of when you look at the birth chart, their time and where all the other planets were to how they behave the way they behave. Mm. Do you get where I'm coming from? So if I look at my birth chart, I'd be a Pisces sun, an Aries moon, and a Virgo rising.
Bro, that's a lot.
I know.
That's a lot.
So
I'll sip to that.
So my Pisces, I present as what a Pisces would, like my main personality type. But then my emotions are quite fiery, like an Aries. So I'm quite passionate. I can be, like if I get angry, I can be, it's a mad thing. And then Virgo, I'm quite meticulous. I'm quite logical. I'm quite, I want things in order like a Virgo. So, it's a lot when you're looking at people's birth charts and their star signs. And I think if you look at people properly, you'll see what you like about them and what you don't like about them. And
so what do you find for yourself? Yeah, do you find you've got compatibility with a certain type? Or don't have compatibility?
I don't know if I really have a compatibility per se, but I know there's certain things that get along with someone. So being a Pisces, there's like 2 fishes, and then I know I can get along with Geminis, but that's the inner child. But the adult in part, we might not get along, and that's to do with like if you're an evolved version of that star sign.
I mean, Pisces, Geminis aren't the easiest to get on with in general.
They're not. I get on actually quite good with Aries. I get on really good with Aries.
So do I.
But then as well, when I think about star signs, it depends on like whether you're a woman or a man as well. That also has a factor in how you get on with that star sign.
Just like,
Yeah.
What?
You're just saying like,
It has a... But yeah, you have to look at it because, all right, for instance, if you look at, we were talking about Virgos. No, was it Virgos?
Yeah.
What's Virgo? An earth sign?
Yeah.
Right, so where I am, my personality is more like a Pisces, so I'm fluid, I'm water. Dealing with earth signs can be a bit difficult because they're quite rigid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's earthy.
Not stagnant, but still.
Yeah. So I think there's that as well. I can get along with air signs because, again, that's fluidity.
I'm gonna just check my moon sign again while you're talking.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's not that I do focus on star signs, but I don't really. Again, like I said, I'm adaptable, I'm fluid, so I kind of just take people as I am, but at the same time, star signs do hold like an ideal for me, because there's some I'm like, no, we're not.
Basically, don't just lay down and spray down. Do the knowledge. Because it's not a game. I think it's quite criminal to actually not know what you're dealing with when you're dealing with it.
Yeah.
Or you just end up in some shit, innit?
Yeah.
It's all in alignment, like perfectly. But because you're unaware of it, it ends up always being a fight rather than, do you know what? This was kind of written. And if I paid attention, if I peeped it, I wouldn't be in this mess.
Yeah.
Or I would have been ahead of it to prevent the mess from happening. Science, baby.
But you know, a lot of people don't believe in...
Yeah.
But I think that's maybe because of horoscopes.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I think that's more to do with horoscopes, what throws people off. You know, like your daily horoscopes, newspaper horoscopes, magazine horoscopes, like what's going to happen in your day. Rather than looking at personality types and what you have in your birth chart. Like in terms of, because it helps you understand who you are as well. So if you've got a lot of earth, like if you've got a lot of earth signs in your birth chart, because it's about where all the planets were aligned when you were born and the time. So if you've got a lot of earth in your chart, that would let you know why you could be a bit rigid or a bit limited, or you can also say you could be quite grounded because you're earth, you're an earth sign. But then if you're a person that kind of likes a bit of chaos, or you're a bit unorganized, it could be because you're an air sign, or you got a lot of water in your chart.
I do think that when it comes to birth charts and star signs and stuff, that's like a higher order. It's bigger than just being toxic. You get what I'm saying? It's the time you was born.
And this is why they say nobody's exactly the same as anybody else, because even if you were born at the same time, these things run down to the seconds because planets and things are always moving. Like, obviously, I knew when Rosh said hers, I know my sun's sign is a Pisces as well. I knew that I had the Scorpio, but it was trying to remember, but I've also got Virgo and Sagittarius as part of my makeup. But then if you're doing a chart, depending on where you're looking at, I can tell you the time I was born, but I can only tell you the hour and the minutes. But there's some that will ask you for the seconds. Bro, I don't know, innit? I was just coming out, my friend. And even then, even when you've given birth, they don't tell you the seconds. They tell you the time, they tell you the hours, they tell you the minutes. Because the seconds are always going. Do you see what I mean? So, all right, do we count the second as the minute your head pops out? Do we count the second as the minute your feet are like you're entirely out? So, okay, cool. But then what one person might say is 1 second, another person says another second, but you don't, that literally, that second could be the difference between a planet shift. Yeah, because of the measurement of whether it be angles on whatever else that they use. So you could literally go from being this part within you or this part with you, but it could be a big difference in who you are. Do you see what I mean? So it's very variable in terms of when you're looking at it in its true essence. So as you know, when they say people are on the cusp, it could be that for a lot of people are on the cusp, and not just because of the date that they were born, but they're on the cusp because of the time. And not only time, it's down to location of where you're born as well. Because obviously you've got different time zones. So that in itself, mate, you meet somebody else that says, oh my gosh, I was born on that day too. But what time were you born? I was born in the morning. Okay. You was born when that was happening. I was born when this was happening.
Do you think that we go into relationships with the knowledge of that it's bigger than us?
Are we talking about number?
I'm talking about
the majority or the minority?
The majority.
I think the majority, yes.
Do you think that?
They go into relationships unaware of that it's bigger than them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think the majority.
Because I do think that a lot of the issues that we have, I don't think that we would have. And I don't think that, because obviously there's like certain parts of relationships to do with men and women that are so like, that are so popular to speak about in society. And I don't think that it would be if we knew that it was bigger than us. And okay, I'm aware of your star sign and I don't want no parts of you based, and it's not necessarily based on you, it's based on me and what I can tolerate. And I said, it's like, if you like empathy, that's something that you can't hide. You know what I'm saying? Empathy is something that you can't really hide. If you like patience is something that you can kind of hide. You can,
but it will show. It will break through the cracks.
Right. Depending on your frequency as a person, if you're like, not a lot of people can really stomach that.
Right, yeah.
So you can get ahead of this and prevent a lot of the issues that you have by doing the knowledge.
Do you know what though? I think you can, but I think the problem that a lot of people have, you've got the people that see it as just that astrology jargon that are like, oh, I'm not really into all of that. So if you meet someone and they think, oh yeah, I've met this person and he's nice, but they are into it, to them it's like, oh yeah, I ain't got time for it. Oh, I don't know, I was born on this day, I don't know much else. So you wouldn't know much of them because they don't know much of themselves to give you. So I think because you've got that divide of those who are interested in it, those who are, because the thing is, you could be interested in it and still not be deep into astrology like that, still not be deep into star signs like that, but you're open-minded and you're interested, and then you watch people. So you might just say, oh, okay, this is that, boom, that's it. But that now you monitor them and their character, and then you think, all right, can I, like you said, do I have the patience to deal with this?
Yeah.
Do I want to deal with this? Like, what am I you gonna have? What are you looking for? What are you willing to? I don't want to say put up with, because to me, put up with is always a negative thing. But what are you willing to endure together, though, not of the other person? You know, like every relationship has its ups and downs in it, but what are you willing to go through with somebody? So it's your patience, it's your endurance, and all of that. These factors come in from the kind of characteristics a person has. So, but people, when they're getting to know each other, it's just, oh, what do you like doing? What do you do for fun? It's basic questions that are broad at the same time, if you know what I mean.
I think it's as simple as, so as I said, right, to me, it's bigger than the individuals in the relationship. If you can't see that it's bigger than you, then we have an issue. Because then the idea of who you are, your character traits, and when you was born and who you're compatible with is going to be
yeah.
But like, that's like you saying, I'm not interested in having the tools to be ready to be in this space with you. I'm choosing to go unequipped because it's not bigger than me. I am bigger than it. That's like a big, like, spotlight, red flag. Oh, okay, so it's about you. It's not about us in its entirety. Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about something that governs us, that the pilgrims have made it a thing to where we do not know about this stuff.
Yeah, you have to be on a different level of tapped in, and those that are tapped in are ridiculed for it most of the time.
Right.
So when you do have people, it's like that kind of, oh, you're that hippie type, or you're that this type. You're labelled quickly, but the people that label you are the people that don't generally understand or aren't ready to receive, not even the knowledge, but to receive themselves.
They're not ready to receive themselves equals they're not ready to receive life. They're not ready to receive the tools to where they can, like, help.
Because help. But it's interesting because I think a lot of people don't see it as reality. That's the bit that always gets me. When they're like, oh, you're off in your fairyland with astrology. Well, hold on. Oh, you think this is the real? This is the real realm, and that's the fantasy realm. But what you don't realize is the soul and the spirit and the energy. That's the real realm. Like, this is, as they say, like a stimulus. Because as us, as individuals, who we are is within us. It's not the character you're seeing on the outside. It's not the body. It's not the shell. The shell is nothing without the soul. And the soul is what tunes in to the spiritual realm. So how can that be so fantasy-like? But it's only fantasy-like if you don't live in that.